Hi friends! Welcome back to my channel! I'm so excited to be back. If you're new here, my name's Jordan and you're watching Criminal Crafting.
Wanted to get it right, trying to find some balance in my life.
If you're new here, we talk about all things true crime, cold cases, court cases, missing persons, you name it, we talk about it. We also craft. We run a small business doing laser cut wooden decor, acrylic decor, all those kinds of things. I am incredibly passionate about crafting, so we make videos about both. Today's video, you guys, is about the Amber Heard interview. And how could I not cover it? After all the coverage over the last 6 weeks, I didn't feel like I could not cover this. There's supposed to be another interview dropping tomorrow, so I will come on and do a video tomorrow live reacting to it. This one, it's around 10 minutes, but I just wanted to listen and react to what she's saying and then have a conversation with you guys about it. So make sure that you subscribe so you get notified when I post new videos. Comment down below your thoughts. I love going into my comments section and having discussions with you guys. Also, all of this is alleged. Do your own research on what you think happened, because I am by no means an expert. I just enjoy true crime and responding to this, and I know that so many of you have been here with me the last 6 weeks through the trial, and I've grown to love a lot of you. I love all of you, but I've really loved being able to bond with some of you. So please comment so that I can be friends with you, because I love it. Okay, so we're gonna get into it.
It's been about more than a week since the verdict. As you sit here with me now, has it sunk in? How could it? It's surreal and difficult, in part, yes. This has been a long time coming. Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse? Of course, to my dying day.
To her dying day, you guys. So she's never gonna let it go? She was the one that sat in court and said, I just want to be done with this. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I just want Johnny to leave me alone. And now you're saying that till your dying day, you're never gonna let it go.
Will stand by every word of my testimony. This trial was played out on social media. I think that this trial is an example of that gone haywire, gone amok. And the jury is not immune to that. You think the jury saw it? How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror, it would have been impossible to avoid this.
I get that there probably was a huge probability that jury saw things here and there, but I don't feel like the things that they would have randomly seen would have affected them in a way that it changed their perspective on Amber. I think they had well intentions of making sure they were fair.
Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding signs saying, burn the witch, death to Amber. After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal, energized. Can you put into words how that felt? This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have never felt more removed from my own humanity. I felt less than human.
Let's go back to the day of the verdict. Were you feeling confident?
That's a great question. I wish I could say yes.
Savannah's too nice.
I want to say yes to you, but it wouldn't be true. Even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation.
I think she does this a lot with her things that she kind of answers with a question so that it gives her time to be able to come up with an answer. I think she had a fair trial. I think that social media had nothing to do with that decision. I think the trial was fair. The reason she's gotten so much backlash on social media is because of her lies. The other evidence that didn't come in that is so damning. That's why social media has been hard on her. And you guys, I don't support hate in any way. I don't think anyone should be saying awful things about Amber or sending death threats or any of that kind of stuff. That should not be happening. But she caused the social media to go that direction.
There was another trial, dealt with the same substantive issues that had even more evidence in. In fact, my evidence was largely kept out. Really important pieces of evidence kept out. Done differently, handled differently by a judge instead of a jury.
Some evidence is admissible in a UK court that is not admissible in a US court.
Yes.
Do you think that maybe he just had better lawyers?
I will
Yes.
say his lawyers did certainly a better job of distracting the jury from the real issues.
For some people, they just were frankly disgusted by the whole thing and don't have much sympathy for either one of you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered and not think that it is Hollywood brats at their worst. But what people don't understand is it's actually so much bigger than that. This is not only about our First Amendment right to speak.
But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech.
It doesn't
It
protect
doesn't protect
lies.
lies that amount to defamation. And that was the issue in the case.
Yes,
exactly.
Savannah,
you
get
can't
it.
go into the free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater and you scream fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. My understanding of what that means is not just the freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
But truth is the word.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's all I spoke. And I spoke it
No,
to
you
power,
didn't.
and I paid the price.
There were too many lies.
In the closing
You
arguments,
didn't.
the DEP lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting. What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
What? What?
I'm the performer.
He doesn't have scissors for hands. He had it in the movie. What? This is comical, you guys.
I had listened to weeks of testimony insinuating that, or saying quite directly that, I'm a terrible actress. So I'm a bit confused how I could be both.
The DEP team argued that you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes normal, as I testified to, you have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes
Yes.
in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say,
Yes.
I started the fight.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaks
Probably by
online
you.
after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying you did.
As I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, the
Get
victim
it,
of domestic
Savannah.
violence.
20-second clips.
They're not 20-second clips. They're 3-4 hours long. How can you take that out of context? They're not even if they were edited, how long were the videos then? Oh my heck, you guys.
So the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
I'm not a lawyer. As I testified to, I was talking in those recordings as a person in extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He
And
says
it
he
doesn't-
never hit you.
He can't-
Never. Is
yeah.
that a lie?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What about the witnesses who said they have seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank and support the person they depend on.
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call any of his witnesses any names. I'm here to just kind of talk about it from what it felt like for me as a person who sat there.
When I asked his
Good way to
lawyers,
avoid
why do you
that
think you won?
question.
And the answer I got was, because she never took responsibility for anything
Yep.
she did in the
Been
marriage.
saying that since day one.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable
So now
things
she's gonna admit
throughout
it.
my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret. I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong. I will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the other half of this relationship, because I was. And it was ugly and could be very beautiful. It was very, very toxic. We were awful to each other. I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. But I've always told the truth.
Nope. I just don't even know where to start on that. So she can come now and say she made mistakes. That was the number one thing throughout the trial that I said there was a good possibility for Amber to win if she had admitted to some of her own mistakes in the relationship. The problem was she denied any mistake that she's ever made in the relationship. If she had done that, I think there's a good chance the jury would have sided with her. So I'm glad she didn't. There was another shorter clip yesterday. She referred to everyone that testified for Johnny is on his payroll, except for the few randos, is what she called them, that came in at the end. So Morgan Tremaine, the Hicksville manager, Kate Moss, all of those people, she's referring to them as randos, which to me is highly offensive. I feel like she blamed a lot of it on the jury, that the jury went home and looked at social media and so it wasn't a fair fight. I feel like that the jury was very committed to what they were doing. So I just feel like her and her lawyers have done this press tour, and all of it has been blaming the judge and the jury. The judge didn't let certain evidence come in. The judge didn't let evidence come in that was you telling a psychiatrist or a therapist, I can't remember which one it was, but telling them what happened to you. That can be hearsay. So why would she allow that? And also, UK and US trials are completely different in what you're allowed in and what you're not allowed in. I feel like she had a fair trial. And for her to sit and say, we had to sit and listen to him for 3 weeks straight, of course the jury's gonna go with him. Well, girlfriend, we listened to you for 3.5 weeks. So what do you mean? You had just as much time as Johnny did to convince the jury that Johnny did the things you say he did to you. So you can't come in and say, oh, he got 3 weeks, so of course they're going to believe him. It doesn't make any sense. I think Savannah did such a great job, and I loved when she got a little bit more feisty. Those transcripts, those audios are 3 or 4 hours long. I've listened to most of them. I don't see where she's saying that they've been edited down to 20-second clips, because that's not the case. The audio that people are listening to are the 3 to 4 hour audios. How can that be misconstrued? I don't know, guys. I just am a little baffled by this. I don't think this is helping her in any way. Do you? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But I hope that you guys will subscribe, like, comment, stick around to see what things I have to share. I hope you loved this video. I love you guys, and I'm so thankful for all of you for taking the time to listen to someone as little as me talk about my opinion on things. I love it, and I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Wanted to get it right, trying to find some balance in my life.